So in this video, I'll show you guys how to make something like this. I think, even though I shouldn't, about the people and things that I couldn't control, about the haters and the trolls, while I scroll through my feed with this seed in my brain and the thoughts that I can tame running faster than a train. I can't stop. With absolutely zero equipment, not even a camera. So what we'll focus on today is doing stop animation, but digitally. If you have clicked on this video, then you probably don't have one of those crazy setups where you have an overhead camera, you have a different set of lights and everything and all the background. But what if I told you that you can actually do stop animation without all of that? And you can do it digitally, entire in your software. You don't even need a camera to click any images. So according to me, there are actually two sorts of stop animation. The normal one, which we all see with the big setups, and the one we'll discuss today. So they are not inferior or superior to each other. They are just different sorts of stop animations, and you can do the type of stop animation that your current setup allows. So today we'll discuss about, as I said, stop animation digitally, and without further ado, let's get into it. So this is the part of the clip that I'll be focusing on today, since it has a lot of the things that I'll be discussing that you'll need to know about stop animation. This clip kind of covers them all. So another thing is, during this video I'll give you guys certain tips to really sell the effect, because I couldn't really find these tips on any of the videos online. So as I said, this is the video we have of me just scrolling, and you can see certain things in this video. First is, we have the entire phone with the video inside. Second is, I animated the thumb. And then you have all these icons just going everywhere. So to get started, step 1, before you even do anything, is to go to your preferences and change your settings. What I mean is, you go to your preferences, go to timeline, and set the still image default duration to 2 frames. So usually stop animation is done at 10 to 13 frames per second. So to achieve that, you'll need a frame to last around 2 frames. So to do that, you'll need a particular photo to last for 2 frames. So it will give that little jagged effect that all stop motions have, that little unevenness in the video. So to do that, you'll need it to last for around 2 to 3 frames. I'll keep it at 2 and I'll adjust it if I want later on. So after you're done changing the settings, now it's time to get the images that we will be animating. So what I needed was, I needed a thumb and a phone. So to make the entire sequence of it swiping up. So what I did was, I went to Google Images and I got a photo of phone with a thumb. And now I'm going to show you how you need to cut your images. You need to cut them in a certain way to make them look like you've cut them like out of paper, like how we do in stop animation regularly. So just get your pen tool, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and start cutting around your image. Now you don't need to be perfect. Actually, try not to be perfect, because a little white surrounded area, that little crooked white area around your photo, is what gives it that entire stop animation effect to your photo. So it looks like you've cut it out by your own hand, and whenever we cut stuff with our own hand, it's never perfect. It's crooked, it's jagged, but it's creative, and that's what we want to convey here as well. So this is a tip that I actually didn't find anywhere, and when I started doing stop motion, I was doing them all perfectly, like cutting it out perfectly, make sure there's no white area, and I realized that it made it actually look like just a really bad animation and not stop animation. So if you are going to do this method, then make sure that you give it a little bit of crooked white area. It makes it look more authentic. So we're going to complete this right now. Also, you can do it really fast, so that's the added benefit of it. You don't really need to spend a lot of time on it. So we have it here. We're going to make a selection. Make sure that you have anti-aliasing off, so we don't want any sort of feathering on it, and make the feather radius 0. Click OK. You have made a selection. Now go to File, New, 1080p. OK. Create a new layer. Delete the background layer. Now we have this blank layer here. We're going to go here, get our pointer tool, and we're going to drag this out to this. You can adjust the size as you want. This works for me. And now we're going to just save it as a PNG. I'm going to name this phone, and we save it. So I did this for all my images. I even cut out the thumb and the phone separately to give that animation of it swiping up. So you can do that as well. You can cut into the image, or you can get new images, and all the images I used in this project, I cut them out and I turned them into PNG this way. So if you guys have Photoshop, then you can do it this way. If you have any other software, then I'm pretty sure that the option to cut out images is there, because it's actually a really basic thing to do in any photo editing software. So yeah, that's how you'll get your images for animation, and now we can start to import them into Premiere Pro. So after you're done cutting out your photos in Photoshop, you need to import them to the software. Now I have all my images here, as you guys can see, in different folders. I have overlays, I have images, I have echoes, all the sound and everything. I like to put them all in folders to make it a little bit more organized. So once you've cut out your images on Photoshop and transferred them to the software, next we need to put them in a timeline. Now you need to set your timeline to around 25 frames per second. So you can go to your sequence settings and make sure that it's at 25 frames per second, because that's what usually stop motion is done at. So once you've done that, you can import your images. I already have them here, and now we can go to the fun part and start animating them. So for example, let's take this Facebook icon and how I animated it, just like blowing out of the phone as soon as I swipe up. So at this frame, it's actually behind the photo, so I've kept it under this. So this is the Facebook layer, you can see, and it's under all the layers, so that's why it's behind the phone. And now what I've done is, okay, I'll delete the rest of the frames to show you guys. What I do is I import the image for 2 frames, as I said. So right now it's here. Okay, now I'm going to Alt, click and drag it out. So now the next frame, I know that I need to animate it further, like right around here. So I'll pull the position a bit right. I'll increase the scale because I need it to like be more explosive. So I'll keep it at 50 maybe. And I'll change the rotation a bit to make it, give it that swivelly effect. Next, I'm going to keep repeating this. So we're finally done with it. As you guys can see, it's no rocket science. It's only 3 things. It's position, its scale and its rotation. You need to keep changing these as the frame progresses. I know it's a little bit time consuming, but that's what you have to do to achieve that little stop animation effect. If you try to keyframe, you might be thinking keyframing might be easier. The thing is, if you keyframe, it gives your video that smooth effect, and we don't want the smooth effect. We want that little jagged effect to give it that stop animation look. So you'll have to keep duplicating the image and changing the positions as you want, because if you keyframe it, then it's not going to really look like stop motion. So we have this now, as you guys can see. Looks good. So now once you're done animating everything, the next step is really important. It's something that I didn't learn online and I had to like kind of trial and error it out, is sound effects. Now your sound design will really sell your effect. Now if you go to the original video, you can see that I have applied a lot of sound effects in it to give it that entire look, and I will show you guys what sound effects I used and how I exactly used them. So you see there are a couple of sound effects here. One, there is a background score which is there in the entire video. Second is, you'll see that there is that little cashier sound, like the cash machine makes when you put cash into it. Something like that. I don't exactly know the name of the machine, but the sound it makes is like the rattling sound, and that really sells the effect of the phone swiping. So you'll have to get a bit creative with it, you know, play around with the sounds, put a couple of sounds, see what really fits, and then put it there. So if I don't put the sound there, you'll see that the effect lacks a certain punch. So you can see it's kinda empty, it doesn't really feel that good, but as soon as I add that cashier sound, it really pops. So you'll have to work on sound design, make sure you have a good background score, good sound effect, and then your video is gonna look amazing, trust me. So the final point I want to share with you guys is not technical at all. It's to keep it imperfect. See, the thing is, stop motion was done to achieve a look which is done by hand. You know, you keep changing the position of an object by hand in front of the camera and keep taking images. And to be honest, nobody is perfect in doing that. We're not machines, we'll make mistakes, and that is what makes stop animation stop animation. It sells the effect of it done by hand. It looks imperfect, it looks a bit incomplete, but that's the beauty of stop animation. And to achieve that, you'll have to make sure that you don't overwork on your stop animation. Stop trying to make it perfect, stop trying to get the line to be exactly straight, that the object should travel at this line. No, it's okay even if it doesn't. So go ahead, give it a shot, and even if it's imperfect, it's going to be perfect in its own way. Those are all the tips that I wanted to give you guys, and if you liked the video, then do leave a like and subscribe to the channel, because it really helps the channel to grow. Also, if you have any doubts, you can ask me in the comment section, and if you have any suggestions or you want to learn something else, then you can leave it there as well. And that's all for today, and I'll see you guys next time, I guess. Bye.